Hi there, I'm Katie Brown and welcome to part 2 of the Mastering Study Skills module. In this video, we're going to break down the importance of understanding learning styles, help you determine the style or combination of styles that work for you, and bring it all together in the context of creating study notes. So let's begin by stating the obvious. The reason why recognizing and understanding your learning style is important is so that you can increase the speed and the quality of your learning. It's also worthwhile noting that everyone has their own preferred learning style. Some have a specific dominant style with far less use of other styles, whilst others may find that they use different styles in different circumstances. There is no right mix. Furthermore, you can develop learning styles for both less dominant styles, as well as further improve the learning styles that you already currently use. Unfortunately, however, traditional schooling that you may be familiar with uses mainly linguistic and logical-based teaching methods. It also uses a limited range of learning and teaching techniques that rely on classroom and book-based teaching, all with an emphasis on repetition and pressured exams for reinforcement and review. So if you happen to be a student whose normal learning style doesn't really match these methods of learning, you may find yourself at a bit of a disadvantage. That's why identifying and pinpointing a style of learning that works for you is even more critical. So what are the major learning styles? Well, there's 7 of them, and we're going to go through them one by one. The first is visual. That is, you prefer using pictures, images, and spatial understanding. The second is auditory. You prefer using sound and music. The third is verbal. You prefer using words both in speech and writing. The fourth is physical or kinesthetic. You prefer using your body, hands, and sense of touch. The fifth is logical. You prefer using logic, reasoning, and systems. The 6th is social. You prefer learning in groups or with other people. And the 7th is solitary. You prefer to work alone and use self-study. It's safe to assume that you probably already know what sort of learning style works for you. However, it needs to be said that your learning styles probably have more influence than you may realize. Your preferred styles guide the way you learn, and it impacts the way you internally represent experiences, how you recall information, and even the way you choose your words. To determine the style or the combination of styles that work best for you, I'd recommend exploring and experimenting with the 7 that we just mentioned. Finally, leverage your past experiences and take a moment to analyze your current method of learning, and do a gut check and see if your current approach to learning feels comfortable and appropriate for you. And now let's put these styles into context of when it comes to creating study notes. Do you find that visuals and diagrams help you remember information more easily? Maybe you're the sort of person who listens attentively in class or enjoys listening to music while studying. You could even be someone who needs to act something out or get really hands-on in order to understand a concept. The key is to identify a style of learning that works for you and then integrate this into your note creation process. So for instance, let's start with the basics. The way you take notes, typed versus written. There are pros and cons for each, so it's a matter of your learning preferences. As an example, auditory learners may want to consider typing notes in class while they listen to their teacher. Or perhaps visual learners may want to type their notes so they can integrate these into flowcharts or graphs or diagrams. For kinesthetic learners, you may prefer handwritten notes as it's the physical process of writing the notes that helps the information stick into your head. At the end of the day though, what you should be looking to do is incorporate aspects of each style of learning that play to your strengths and maximizes your understanding of the content. We'll explore the ins and outs of making notes further in part 4, but before we dive into that, there's another aspect of studying that needs to be addressed first. Stay tuned for part 3 where we discuss how to use the syllabus to your advantage. I'm Katie Brown and I'll see you in the next video.